meeting to order, September 14th, 2021, at 7 p.m., regular session.
And again, this meeting is being held in accordance with Public Law 1975, Chapter 231. Adequate notice has been provided by transmitting the resolution of annual meetings to the Asbury Park Press, the Star-Ledger, and the Tri-Town News by posting it on the bulletin board reserved for such announcements in the Township Municipal Building and filing it with the municipal clerk on January 8th, 2021. This agenda is complete to the extent known, and formal action will be taken. Let us call the roll. Mr. Bonovich.
Present.
Mrs. O'Donnell.
Here.
Ms. Richmond.
Present.
Deputy Mayor Russo.
Here.
Mayor Berger.
Present. If we could please stand for the pledge and a moment of silence for all the members of our society who have passed from COVID. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Members of the governing body, first on your agenda this evening is the acceptance of minutes from the previous meetings, August 17th executive session and August 17th regular meeting. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to accept the August 17th executive and regular meeting minutes.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman O'Donnell, seconded by Councilman Bonovich. Councilman Bonovich?
Yes.
Councilwoman O'Donnell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Richmond?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Russo?
Yes.
And Mayor Berger?
Yes, sir.
And the minutes have been approved.
Thank you. A couple of things. I want to just thank very much. The 9/11 event this year was beautiful. The chief did a wonderful job, and I want to thank Mr. Novello as well as Mr. Fetcher. It was very nice. And thank you for all the council members who joined us. I wanted to...
Mayor, can you speak into your mic,
Oh, I'm
please?
sorry. I'm so sorry. You mean you couldn't hear me? That's never been a complaint. Constitution Day is September 17th, so we signed our original Constitution the 17th in 1787. So I think that's a big deal. It's September 17, 2021, so it's been a long time. That's Constitution Day. And Howell Day is September 25th. So I want to remind everybody about that. I also wanted to remind people that we changed the light that goes to Ramtown. The light on West Farms and Lakewood Squonkam Yellow Book Road. So it's been changed from a blinking light to a regular light. So please remember, everybody, when you're driving or if you know somebody that's going in that area, please remember that the light has changed. At this point, I would say Councilman Bonovich.
Just really quick, this is the council. This came up the last time we were here. We had a member from the Howell Chamber of Commerce. This email is with their proposal as far as their expo and job fair. And, you know, I would like to use their American Rescue Plan funds for that. And, you know, I like to see them have their job fair. And I like to see them have their professional speakers and educational workshops. I think every business can use that, and we could bring some new business to town. So I'm in favor of that. This email went around and using the American Rescue Plan. And if we can't use that, I'm in favor of trying to figure that out.
Mr. Clark.
I think the issue is whether we can or not use the ARP funds. I'm not entirely sure we can. Okay. So I'm looking into it. It gets a little complicated when you're giving money to a nonprofit, but there may be some other way to do it.
Okay.
Could we do it with block grant money?
No.
No?
The CDBG money? No.
So it would be a
It's not a
surplus.
permitted use.
If it wasn't American Rescue, the American Rescue Plan, it would probably be surplus, something like
It
that.
would come out of township funds,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Deputy Mayor?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to thank everybody who attended our 9/11 service. It's an important event, perhaps probably the most important event we have in town. So thank you very much. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilwoman O'Donnell?
Yes. Just a reminder that from the 12th to the 18th is National Assisted Living Week.
and I was honored to be invited by Amy Schneider to go to Brandywine and to visit. They're doing a week-long program of different things for their residents, including fashion shows and talent shows. It was really very uplifting. So anyone that wants to take a moment and share their time or whatever with any assisted living in the area would be greatly appreciated. They always need help. Of course, we just spoke about Howell Day on the 25th, so I'll move on to September 30th. Jerry Barron will be accepting the Annie Ritchie Award from the Environmental Commission, which is quite a prestigious award. This family, the Annie Ritchie family, has kept this award going for quite some time. Every year, someone is selected that's worthy and has given their time and effort to the township environmentally and usually in other ways as well. They're usually a well-rounded, informed person, gives a lot of time to the town. So congratulations, Sherry, and I know on the 30th, it'll be a lovely event in your honor, so congratulations. And lastly, October 2nd is that Baxter Fishing Derby again. So that's usually very well attended. Because last year was COVID, I did get a few phone calls, people asking me if it would be held this year, and yes, it will be. So if you have questions, on the website, there's information, obviously, about all of the scheduled events. But we will be having it this year, so good luck. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman?
Thank you. So first, I want to thank Jerry also for all your hard work and dedication. I've been to that event. It's a very nice event. I also want to wish all students, teachers, and faculty a great year. As a parent of two teenagers, been home for 18 months. I'm sure you know this, Councilman. I'm happy that they're back in the building. So it was a tough couple of months, but they're there and they're doing the best they can to keep the kids in school. So thank you to all the staff that made that happen. Mr. Geegan, I do have a question and maybe an update. I would like an update. So I guess back in March, I had discussed a proposal on prohibiting of warehouses. I did a little thing about that, about a warehouse ordinance. And the professionals were going to look into that, how we could possibly prohibit all the warehouses that are going up.
Right.
The applications. Mayor, please.
I just asked
I-
a question.
Okay. Mr. Geegan.
So following that, we had discussed, we had our planner, Jen Beam, present for some meetings. We were going to have her update the circulation plan for our master plan. And I don't know if you recall, she did indicate that for a big part of it, she wanted to wait until September, till everyone was back in school. Obviously, that has a major impact on traffic flows around town. So now that we're beyond that, hopefully she's hard at work with it, and we should be expecting some results shortly.
Awesome, thank you. I know it's a big, delicate subject here in Howell, for sure. I'd like to thank Lou and the administration, where we've all looked at the audit, I'm sure, and the successful findings that our audit showed, and the best practices, so thanks to our professionals for that. Also, Mr. Geegan, do you have an update on the solar panels, bringing them onto Town Hall? I know you've been looking into this, so where are we at with that?
Yes, Mr. Clark and I actually have a meeting next week with special counsel about rolling out a solar program throughout the town, using more than just Town Hall, various other locations that we have that maybe can't be developed, or park and ride, things like that. So we want to go big or go home.
So this will be the first meeting of
Yeah,
many?
Joe Clark and this attorney have been corresponding back and forth, so he has a good idea of the direction we want to go. So hopefully we'll have some results after that meeting.
Fantastic, thank you. And lastly, I have to say, I don't know if anybody saw it, but Melanie Decker, she was on Jersey Matters with Kimberly Kravitz, and they did a nice little piece. The link is up on the township website. Melanie and the staff over at our senior center did a great job keeping our seniors active and involved and taken very, very good care of. So if you haven't had a minute, Jersey Matters, she did a nice little piece on our senior center. So it's my time. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Just, I'm sorry, may I?
Go ahead.
Just quickly, thank you, Mr. Geegan, for the solar initiative. I know I've been nagging you over this, but thank you so much. And secondly, Councilwoman Richmond, I'm happy that you brought that initiative forward, and let's hope that we can monitor warehousing in a way that's suitable for Howell Township in the best way possible. So thank you so much, and let's hope that we're successful.
Thank you.
Mr. Geegan, I had asked you during, in the week if you would have an update to the code of conduct.
Yes, the attorney had rolled out. You sent that to the governing body, correct?
I haven't shared it with the governing body yet. I sent it internally for review, so we're going to have an update to several of our internal codes.
When will we be seeing that? The change, the proposed change?
Probably in the next week or two.
Okay, and it'll come in like a red line or a blue line?
I can do that.
Thank you.
Speaking of that, we had to do a webinar. I think that you sent something out for the governing body or
Social media.
social media. Is that something we're going to discuss at a later time, or everybody's done it already, or where are we at with that?
We did.
I did.
I didn't do it.
Jill circulated a link to everybody for a social media class that all of you were supposed to have taken by now. So if you haven't, reach out to her, copy me, and we'll see what we can do to get access to the course again.
Do you
Thank
need
you.
the certificates sent to you once we complete, the course is completed?
We should have a copy of them,
Okay.
whether Mr. Harris, myself, Jill, so whomever.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Geegan?
Sorry, I didn't know if you're, a few things. The Kent Road Bridge is finally complete and open. I know that's been topic on the last few. Also, Mayor, you had asked about an update for the Optimum. Their attorney actually finally has reached out to Andy Bayer, and there's a meeting scheduled for that next week as well. That was just set up early yesterday, I believe,
cool.
was finalized, so. You mentioned the traffic light. A couple other things, the New Jersey American Water Project, Howell to Lakewood Transmission, the directional drill beneath Groundhog Brook near Amanda Lane was completed in August. Residents in the area can now connect to that water main. Paving of Maxim Southern Road between Locust and Talcott is scheduled for the first week of November, weather permitting. Next, for the Lake Louise Dam and Bridge Replacement Project, it's expected the county will award the project at their September 23rd meeting. It's anticipated that Lanes Pond Road will be closed from Locust Ave to Lanes Mills Road for approximately 1 year during this
Could you
construction.
say that quickly 3 times?
No, I cannot. As we get more information on the progress of the commencement of construction, we'll be posting that to our website, and I'm sure announcing it at further meetings. Our pavement patch program is ongoing. They've been addressing the areas of Ramtown Greenville Road near Mistletoe Court, and Ramtown Elementary School, Newton's Corner Road near the brick border, and West Farms Road near the Home Depot Shopping Center and Fairfield Road. New Jersey American Candlewood Water Main Replacement Project, the concrete work continues within Candlewood, and paving of Beacon Drive, Meadowbrook Drive, Putnam Road is anticipated for October. And that's about all I have for now.
Thank you. Mr. Clark?
Nothing for me.
Thank you. Nothing, Matt? Is Lou on the line?
No, he had a scheduling conflict,
Okay.
and since we didn't have any finance issues.
Okay, just making sure I didn't.
Yep, thank you.
So at this point, I would open up for a hearing of the citizens and public comment on the consent agenda. Charles Teeter?
And again, we're going to ask that each person give their first name and address for the record, and try to keep your comments to 5 minutes or less.
It'll be less than that. Good evening, Madam Mayor and members of the council. I'm here to speak regarding the short-term rental properties. My name is Charles Teeter, and I reside at 16 Bach Boulevard. My wife and I purchased this home in July of 2018, and we fell in love at first sight. Over the past few years, we've come to love the entire neighborhood more and more. We have found new friends, which our kids will grow up together, that will hopefully last a lifetime. When we moved in, the house immediately next door at 14 Bach Boulevard was vacant and was nearing completion of being renovated. During the summer of 2020, the home was occupied by the owner's brother and his family. They kept to themselves and would be neighborly when we saw them. The home eventually sold in May of this year to a woman and her family. Within the first 2 weeks, we had met them, and the owner advised us that they had lived in Brooklyn, and this was going to be their vacation home for the weekends. Not long after, we noticed that there would be different cars in the driveway each day. Some days it would be one car, and others there would be 4 or 5 cars in the driveway. We would notice numerous people walking around and would point at our house as they walked by. We noticed litter would be on our front lawn, as well as cigarette butts laying around, which at the time, nobody in my neighborhood smokes. We begun to fear that they were renting the house as an Airbnb, but we were unable to find it anywhere online for rent. On July 24th, our fear had become reality. At 9:30 p.m., 2 males came to my door, and I have 2 children, one little running around now, and I have 3 large dogs. Let me tell you, it's not easy having visitors late at night with 3 big dogs. I'll tell you that right now. Okay. The man advised me, and I quote, that he was renting the house next door, and now he was asking me if I knew of a car service because he needed to get his car, which was across town. Since that day, we have noticed the rental situation get worse. Renters seem to come and go even quicker. The most recent renters had a party each of the 4 days they were there, which were all work days. The 3 garbage cans were at the curb for several days, full and overflowing, and up against the garage were anywhere from 10 to 15 garbage bags, much more than a normal household would have. My biggest concern with the home next door being used as a rental is a lack of respect for the neighborhood by renters that do not live here, the loud daily parties, the overflowing garbage, and lack of respect for the environment with the littering. The past 2 weeks, the owner's vehicle has been in the driveway and has not moved. Even with the car there has been different cars in the driveway. I submitted a complaint with code enforcement, and it appears that since then, she has left it there in an attempt to say the house is occupied by the owner. And the last piece I'd like to share is a sign on the gate in the backyard around the pool explaining the house address and an emergency contact number for Hatslaza, an ambulance service, which is very unusual for a resident to have at their home. I feel it is for people that rent the house. I do have pictures and videos of everything I've mentioned, including the 2 men coming to my door late at night. Myself and my fellow Bach Boulevard residents strongly encourage you to pass the ordinance prohibiting short-term rentals and to keep Howell a wholesome township as I have come to love. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Gerald Bain.
Hello, I'm Gerald, and I'm at 15 Bach Boulevard. I'm across the street from the house that's in question. And this last party that was taking on for 4 days made it nearly impossible for me to appropriately work from home. The noise was so loud that when I was on video conferences, I had to hover over the mute button all the time so that when I needed to speak, I could turn on the mic, and I had to turn it off again immediately after. So behavior like the people who rent these houses have no consequences and to their actions, and they all figure they paid their money, they should be able to do what they want to do, and it can't be permitted to continue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh,
Wayne Senatore.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Wayne Senatore. I'm here from Bridle Path Estates, representing the people again, although I don't have everyone with me like I did last week, or last month. I'm here to try and convince you, or hope that I can convince you, to sign the ordinance. I guess it's 2126,
That's
the
correct.
rental ordinance.
that's correct.
All right, I'm hoping to convince you to sign that or approve it. And I'm taking it from a different approach. As you know from last month, we had the problem with big pool parties. So the ordinance basically stems from that. So I want to thank the council and all the members of the town council for, number one, swiftly took down 430. 435, I understand, is now, Peter Foreman talking about, they're now signed the consent agreement as 430 did so they don't have to show cause. And,
That's correct.
And the only thing I'd like to, again, reemphasize here is that I sent everyone an email the other day regarding Washington Township Police. The mansion pool party that was supposed to be at 4:35 probably found its way down to Washington Township. And the police there took action. And last month, when I spoke to you about Jackson Township, that code, 350, I think it was, came up and said that the police in Jackson take action at these things. I think, Mr. Clark, you said you were going to look into this, and I don't know if you did or didn't, but
So typically, I read through the article that you sent, and it looks like there was a history of violations at that particular residence in Washington Township, so that gives the police more latitude. So if they get a call, unless there's sort of like a zoo atmosphere where people are rolling in the streets, if it's noise, so for example, one of your neighbors actually bought a noise meter. And so they were able to measure the noise at the property line, and they were able to be compliant with our noise ordinance. So in some cases, there's not much that the police can do, but when there's an obvious issue with the party, they can go in and break it up. In this case, what we did was, we did what I will tell you is a very unusual step of actually going into court on behalf of all the other homeowners and shutting it down. So it was a way that got results very fast. I've been a lawyer 26 years, and I've never done that.
okay.
And we did it twice in 2 weeks.
Well, 435 got away with the noise ordinance because, yeah, they had the meter, but when they have that meter, what they do is they lower it and then they make additional revenue by selling headphones to all the participants at $20 an hour. So they make, besides making the $10,000 every month, they're taking 200 people and they're making another $200, $300 every hour.
So right now, though, too,
They got an angle.
I haven't heard of any other parties like that, and, assuming that the ordinance passes tonight, we'll have banned the ability to rent out properties on a short-term basis and individual amenities. So I would think that will give us some greater latitude in enforcement.
Yes. So that's basically what I want to address, and thank you very much for
Thank
hearing me
you.
again.
Joe, just, Mr. Clark, just to follow up, last week, the last meeting, we talked about Swimley, and this ordinance was created, Airbnb, but that one gentleman back there, this takes care of their own personal signage as well. This is just daily rentals, no more. And it puts some teeth in,
I understand that.
for our code.
Right, so if we just ban the rental of amenities like a swimming pool, and we didn't
Yeah.
ban the rental of a house, people will just rent the house and use the amenities, so,
You need to do both.
yeah, you gotta do both.
The Airbnbs, as you said, were like, now it's a 90-day requirement, so it's going to cost them at least $5,000, $4,500 to
Right.
rent, even if they want it for one night.
And then they went
So,
from Airbnb, then they went to Instagram, then they went to a sign on the back fence, so,
Yeah,
yeah,
Right.
okay.
we hear you.
All right, thank you.
Paul Rayberger?
Yeah, Paul Rayberger, 147 Arnold.
How are you?
How are you? I've been coming in here for quite a while, probably since you were first, your
Yes, sir.
first term elected, trying to get these trucks off my road. My road's being used as the main truck route, coming off the two county roads, going into Lakewood, taking a shortcut. And actually, Chief Kudrick went out there and had the guy do a full report. And I have it in my hand. I don't know if you guys ever see it or not, but that's why I brought it here tonight to give it to you. The only problem is, it's going on almost 2 years since it's been done, and I don't know if the thing ever left the township. Because I called the guy that did it, Cherney, and he said he gave it to the engineering department, but yet when I called the engineering department, he didn't know anything about it. So in the meantime, I'm calling Chief Kudrick, leaving messages. He never called me back. So I thought maybe I should come in here in hopes that you people could help me out. But the report spells everything out, what's all the problems. There's been a couple of, I've been coming in here talking all the time about that one intersection where the trucks can't make the turn, which I actually have a document here done by Mr. Herman back in the day, explaining that they need a 35-foot turning radius, and they only have a 5-foot turning radius. And I've come in here with pictures. I've had tanker trucks filled with jet fuel going to the Lakewood Airport, tanker trucks filled with chemicals, constant dump trucks, which, by the way, probably most of them are overloaded, because when I go past my house, the whole house shakes. And that's the intersection I'm most worried about, because that's, and I also gave you pictures of these school buses filled
Yes,
with
you
little
did.
kids at that intersection. That's the intersection I'm most worried about. And in the report, you'll read it, there's already been 2 accidents involving school buses. Thank God, nothing serious. But it's going to be a matter of time before there's going to be a tragedy out there. So, I just want to give you these documents, you can read through them, and hopefully, we could get this thing done.
If you could please give them to, I was going to say either you or Mr. Harris.
Now, like I said, it's 2 things. Oh, it's not just my road, too. There's problems throughout that whole south corner of Howell with trucks. And I mean, I gotta give the chief credit. He did a nice, sending his guy out, he did a nice job. But now it's a matter of getting it implemented, which,
Can you make copies for all of us?
Yes, please.
and then I'll give you this other one. This is by Herman, pretty much speaking on the intersection I'm most worried about. One other thing, I don't even know if this is possible. Is there any way they could redirect those school buses until this is done? Reroute them so they don't have to hit that corner?
That I don't know.
Because I am scared that, I mean,
That would most likely have to go through the Board of Education.
Yeah.
Their routes are planned well in advance.
you
so-
might want to consider it, because I don't, the kids are back to school now.
Have you gone to the Board of Ed?
No, I haven't. This is the first, with the COVID and everything.
Mayor, I'll reach out to him and ask about that.
Thank you.
Well, I was under the impression that it was all getting done. You know what I mean? And then when I started making phone calls and I found out nothing's getting done, I know you people can help me out.
Thank you.
And I
For the
think this is
information.
going to go a long way helping you get this thing, finally getting it resolved. It's not just my street. There's a lot of problems out there. All right?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Education said they'll reach out to the Board of Education.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Thank you. Joan Osborne?
Good evening, council, mayor, professionals. 28 Baronia Street, Joan Osborne. I just had a quick comment. I was very happy to see the follow-through and having the meeting on the marijuana ordinances. I would like to suggest that equally as important, and even a bigger issue for the township, is dealing with the warehouses. I mean, I know that you submitted an ordinance and there was a meeting held, but I haven't seen that anything else has been done since then. I see that Monmouth Commerce, the hard-fought decision that we won in court, I'm hearing that it's going to be appealed. And with that, if that happens, and nothing has been done to change our ordinances, it's going to give them a leg up on being able to build exactly what the planning board already denied them. So I would ask that you start holding special meetings and get this done. Get these zoning ordinances changed so we can address and appropriately limit the size, make it a conditional use so you can consider the traffic impacts. So they can't just be anywhere they want them to be, on a small 2-lane road that's not built for that, or across from a school, like they're proposing one at Middle School North. So I would just ask that you give this the importance it deserves. You all ran on this issue. Please take care of it.
Ms.
Thank you.
Osborne, if I may, I'm not sure when you walked in or not, but I did during my reports, because I did put a request in to reevaluate the warehouse ordinance back in March, if anybody remembers.
Yes.
And I just had asked the manager a little while ago to please give us an update, and he did. But if you'd like to, Mr. Geegan, in case somebody missed it, you could, please.
Yeah, as we were discussing that ordinance several months ago, there was agreement to have our planner review the circulation element of the master plan. And based on her recommendation, she wanted to wait until after the beginning of September, once schools returned, because that was going to vary the traffic significantly. So she's working on that as we speak.
Okay. What is the timeline for getting some of the the zones changed where warehouses can be?
Well, she would come back with recommendations that would be presented to the council, and then we'd have to enact several ordinances
Okay, so
related
you're
to that.
thinking this year? Would that
I would
happen this
expect
year?
this year, yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you. Kathy Novak?
Good evening. Good evening. Kathy Novak, 16 Stratton Drive, Howell. Good evening, to
Hi.
Mayor and Deputy Mayor and council and professionals. I wasn't going to mention this, but to follow up on what Joan said about the warehouses, and particularly Monmouth Commerce Center. We have 2 planning board members that have been sharing information on social media of a scenario that if this Monmouth Commerce Center is appealed again, it would come back to the planning board again, and how could the planning board deny it for a second time? So I'm just wondering, is this something that is professional to do as a councilwoman and as a planning board member?
Excuse me, may I? I shared an article. That's what I did. Everybody does it all the time. I shared an article, an informational article, so the public is informed. That is all I did, Kathy. So please don't make more of it than what it is. That's all I did.
I can send you the screenshots of it.
I actually can as well, and I already advised Mr. Clark of it, because it's already been an issue, and we discussed it.
Okay? And the other person is Mr. Boom, or I don't know how to say his name, honestly. Bovai, also known as Mr. Boone on social media. Two of our planning board members. All right, so that's what I have to say about Monmouth Commerce Center.
Thank you.
We had a resident who sued them. She spent her own money, and I don't think we need to figure out the outcome if Monmouth Commerce Center appeals it. Second, I wanted to mention the efficiency study that was awarded. It's already done, but after the fact, we found out that there were lower bidders, Matrix, and we ended up spending $43,000 more to Government Strategy Group. And I really am a little upset about that because Matrix seems like a reasonable company. I went online and checked them out. And why wouldn't we go to the lowest responsible bidder? Just a comment. But thank you, Councilman Bonovich and Mayor Berger, for voting against that. That's being fiscally responsible for the taxpayers. The other thing I have is resolution 21, no, not that one. The fountains in the township, 21276. This was pulled from the agenda from the last meeting, and it's the last item on the agenda this meeting, so I'm just wondering, it was pulled because there was something wrong with the developers agreement, and I don't really know, has there been any changes, or what actually happened with that?
There was an issue that was brought up at the last minute that led us to question it. That's why it was pulled. Once it was looked into, there was no issue, so it's being presented tonight as it was for the last meeting. And the reason why it's placed on the agenda where it is it's pulled out for a separate vote.
Oh,
Because I
okay.
believe the mayor had asked for that
Okay.
previously.
So I misconstrued that. Okay. Is it going to be over 55?
It's 100 age-restricted units.
Over 55?
I believe that's right.
Okay. And it's 4 stories, correct?
It's 4 stories, yes, correct.
Yeah. I believe they were grandfathered.
That's correct.
Okay. And
I'll also note too, while you're looking, it's 49 and a half feet tall, whereas under the prior ordinance, it was allowed to be 60, so it's still.
Mr. Clark, I have a question about that. Does that start a precedence for us that we have to allow other buildings to be a four-story?
No.
Is it affordable housing that Fountains?
I don't believe it is. I know it came out of an affordable housing lawsuit about 20 years ago. There's a convoluted history with it, but I think ultimately what happened was that instead of originally being 408 units, it was pared down to 100 age-restricted and 26 residential units. In 2018, the developer voluntarily withdrew the application for the 26 residential units, leaving the 100 age-restricted units. A portion of that developable property is being donated to the town as part of the overall deal.
Okay. On Resolution 21291, this is appointed as an administrative agent for affordable housing for 2021, and now it's going from 60,000 to 115,000. What is this?
So this is the agent that oversees our affordable housing program, and with all the sewer development in Freewood Acres, we had made money eligible to certain low-income properties. So they are the company that's been overseeing this program. So it's created an additional workload.
Also on 21292, Dosty and Associates, they're going from 25,000 to 60,000. Is it one particular problem?
They had received an increase in their not to exceed earlier in the summer, and then they were the firm that we used to go into court on the swim plea issues. So they very quickly, because of the nature of the litigation, they need an increase in that so as not to exceed it again.
Okay. And 21293, that is Dosty, Murphy, McGuckin.
That's another one of our special counsel, and they're handling some of the largest litigation in the town. They're handling the Countryside case with Colts Neck. They're handling the Monmouth Commerce litigation against the town. They're handling the waste transfer station litigation involving the county and one or two others. So they're doing a lot of the heavy lifting.
Okay, because they went from 50,000 to 110,000, and this is just this meeting. I don't know what's happened all year. Dosty and Dosty, you know, there's two, there's a father and a son, and they have two different companies.
That's correct.
Yeah. So I remember there was an issue that someone brought up in the past regarding Dosty making donations to.
It was a non-issue.
It was a non-issue?
It was a non-issue.
But you had said, I will just say that you had said it wasn't the same Dosty, but there's two Dostys that.
It was not, and even if the donation had been made by that particular Dosty, it was still permissible under the way the public contract
Okay.
laws and all that work.
Fair enough. Speaking of the waste transfer station, do we know anything that's going on with it?
Not currently. I don't know that the county is particularly pushing it. I know that there was a motion to dismiss. I think a portion of it had been granted, and I think it's sort of moving its way along.
A portion of the waste transfer station has been granted?
No, a portion of the motion to dismiss was granted.
Sorry. Okay, so did we ever find out anything about the $30,000 traffic study from Monmouth County?
No.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Barbara Dixell?
I have to take this off to speak. Sorry. Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good
Barbara
evening.
Dixell, The Villages, Howell Township. Mayor, I would like to thank you very much for allowing me to speak at the 9/11 Memorial. As you know, I was there. Unfortunately, I lived through this horrendous thing, and it doesn't get easier. But I also want to, God bless the memory of the 5 Howell residents we lost that day. And I have to say, never forget. God bless the United States of America, and just never, ever forget, and hope to dear God this never happens again. Okay. What I have to say is the agenda for tonight is all blue and numbered and all jumbled up and hard to read. Please go back to printing this agenda in black ink with a small explanation under the title so that we can all read it and understand it. For those of us who need to read the title plus understand what it says. Again, this thing is just all blue.
Mr. Harris, could you please explain the change?
The blue is a result of them being hyperlinks. It's not an ink thing. It is just a hyperlink.
So what that means, Barbara, is that you can click on each one, and it opens up, and you could read it.
Okay.
It does make it a lot easier. I
At 82 years old, I don't think so.
So
Okay,
what
sorry.
what I can do is put the hyperlink in the number and leave the title black.
Do something, because this thing is absolutely mumble jumble, it's totally unreadable.
Why? I don't understand.
Maybe like on her computer, she may not have like an update or something,
I-
maybe?
I'm not sure I'm seeing what you're
Well,
seeing.
I'm not altogether computer savvy, so I try the best.
Barbara, do you have an iPad
Can
by
I
any
show
chance?
you mine?
No, I have it right in front of me. I printed it right off my computer. Here, I'll give it to you, take it. It's right off the computer.
Yeah, let me please.
I printed it right off my computer. It's absolute mumble jumble, you can't see it, can't read it. Why is it mumble jumble? Very hard to read.
Just because it's in all caps?
It's just blue all together. The black is more diversified, it's more understandable, it's easier to read.
So I could put the link in the hyperlink in the number and leave the title.
I think that would look a little bit cleaner. I agree.
Okay, Barbara.
Thank you. The next thing I want to say is, since the June 22nd, July 13th, and August 10th council meetings, when not all members were present in attendance to do the governing body's business. Calling in to a meeting in progress is not doing the job you all were elected to do. If there is a health emergency or a death, that is reason enough not to be here. However, the elected governing body of the Township of Howell needs to be at all meetings. The township business must be done to get done, and putting off a must-for votes is not acceptable. Please make every effort to attend all council meetings. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll do my best next time, Barbara. I did have a family issue with my personal business, and as long as I let the proper people know I couldn't be here, stuff happens. Life happens. So I do apologize to the people of Howell, but sometimes, Barbara, things happen, and I made the extra effort to call in, which I didn't even have to do that, to get the business of the township people done.
The August 10th meeting at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, that was sent, the notice was, Monmouth County pulled the plug on you guys and said, you have to make up your mind. Monday, the notice was sent out to the newspapers, I understand some of the newspapers never got them, and Tuesday, the agenda was printed, and the meeting was at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That's absolutely, totally unacceptable, because people didn't attend the previous meetings when all of this could have been done, and the 4 votes could have been done. But again, I'm going to tell you, I took all the information and sent it to the Attorney General. Absolutely, absolutely infuriated. The township business must be done. Thank you.
Thank you. Amber Toomey? Toomey? Sorry, Amber.
I'm Amber Toomey, 699 Aldrich Road. I am the vice president of the Howell Farmers Market, and I also own a small business in town. What I'm coming to you guys about today is our market is struggling. We need your help. We know that you have a link for the Howell Farmers Market on the township and information on that link, but our market's not on your calendar. It's not on the calendar at all. So I didn't know until recently that you had a television public access thing. We have a beautiful flyer that we paid for, like advertising with edible jersey, that would be great to post up. I've seen each one of you guys either at the market. I haven't seen you because I don't know who you are, or you, but you know, I've seen you guys. I've seen you, Ms. Richmond. I've seen you post about it. Mayor Berger, big proponent. You as well, Mrs. O'Donnell. I met you in January of last year at a meeting. I walked in as wanting to participate and left on the board. And you know, you guys have all been great, and we really appreciate all of the support. We think it's something great for the community. But what's happening is we're having a decline in attendance of shoppers. Some of it is because people just don't even know about us. I run into people, I talk to everybody. My family jokes that I'm the mayor because I don't meet a stranger. And I'm like, hey, have you been to our farmer's market? And I'm handing them cards, you know, trying to bring them in. And they're like, no, we didn't know you even had one. I'm like, this is the second year. So if there is any type of marketing assistance, promotional assistance, anything you guys can provide, if you have an intern laying around that could direct us. But I'm an archaeologist turned cupcake lady. I've been doing this for 7 years, my own business, so I'm familiar with a lot of the social media and the marketing. I do well with that, but we've kind of tapped out. We're completely volunteer run. We had to laugh when someone made a comment about somebody's paid to do something. Joan and I had to laugh. We're like, we're not. You know, so I love this town. I've been here 2 years, but we really just need more support from the town. And I think preparing to go into the next year, if we're going to perpetuate this, we're gonna maybe need more than just a volunteer base. And Joe, you've been right there behind us, emails in the trenches with us, and you've been on the other side of Joe. So the other question we have, or request we have, you mentioned the Chamber Expo. We do have a November farmers market, a holiday market on November 14th. We would just ask if it's an option to not have your expo at that time.
So why don't we set up a time during the week or whenever you guys can meet, you and Joan, and we can meet and we can talk about some of the marketing issues, getting it on I did not know it wasn't on the township calendar, so we'll get it on there.
Okay.
And we'll work to, help promote it. I think it's one of the success stories in the town over the past couple of years.
Really
I mean, I
trying.
see you and Joan working there. You're both very hard, very dedicated. It wouldn't exist without you guys,
No,
so.
and, you know, Jerry's right behind it.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
Kathy, she's in on it.
Everybody.
We have a handful of other volunteers that show up. and
It's a
set
good
up
crew.
signs. But yeah, we're kind of at that growth point that if we're going to have this market next year or have something like this, we need more support, because I think we've done a really good job showing we have something worth your time and energy to put behind it.
Yeah, Mr. Gagan, can we use the Howell TV to help promote the farmers market?
I believe so, because they're
Excellent.
formed.
I recommend we do that, yeah, immediately. And also, if you can, I know John and I and Mary, we have professional pages. If you can email me the flyers, I will put it out every week on my deputy mayor page.
Same here.
That would be
So we'll get it out there.
wonderful. If we can just really boost, but because we have decreased attendance, we have great vendors. We just don't have enough people, and plus it's been hotter than,
We
you know.
we have great vendors. Other towns are trying to poach them.
Yeah. Can I make a suggestion, if you don't mind? You know how we have Howell alerts, and when, like, a meeting's, you're looking at me like, don't do it? Sorry, Mr. Geegan.
Well, it's-
But
it's-
honestly,
You can, but what happens is, once you start overloading that with every organization's notices, people are just going to turn it off.
But they're not
So when we have an
People-
emergency or something we're really trying to get
Yeah,
out,
there's code
Sorry, I
red, there's
tried.
code blue, there's codes, yeah.
Well, you're right, this has been a horrific year for the weather.
It has been really hard. We are on pavement. One thing that would be amazing if the township could get behind is allowing us or helping us provide like a tent and maybe some tables that people can hang out with, because the mask mandates have changed. We have music every week. We have people just standing around because, like, you know, they're not necessarily prepared to come sit down. They don't know to bring a chair, even if we tell them to, because, you know, nobody listens. But things like that are things that will help. You know, we appreciate the use of the restrooms. That was really tough last year. You know, and we've had to have a workaround because there were issues within the building not related to the market. So we're grateful that we do have those opportunities, and you guys are trying to meet us in the middle with our needs.
Mr. Clark, yeah, that meeting, I think you'll find that you can iron out a lot of this. And
Yeah, so let's do that, because it sounds like we're sort of at a tipping point in terms of growth, and I think it's beyond like a couple-minute discussion. We'll figure out things like, I know that the original ordinance allowed for lease of the township property here, but it also allowed for property at our old Preventorium site too, so, you know, let's just kind of tease through all of the issues. We'll figure out what's going to get maximum attendance and accommodate growth and make you guys comfortable and help everybody and really turn it into a jewel,
great.
because it already is.
That sounds great. So all your wheels are turning. Be
Yes.
thinking. You know, we appreciate it, and I hope that you all come out. we have a light week this week with vendors, but it'll return to a little fuller starting after that.
I have a quick question, actually, for you. Is it dog-friendly? Somebody asked me recently if it's dog-friendly.
The official answer is service animals are permitted. The way we have been mostly operating is, as long as there is not an issue, the owners, as long as they don't have their animals at the food and there's not a problem, they're cleaning up after, we haven't had any issues like that. We did have a business owner in town offer to set up like a puppy pen
Oh,
area.
that's so cute.
Yeah.
Where
That's
someone
great.
could actually walk their dog, and they would be they would have all of the things needed to clean up, but we hadn't brought that yet to you, Mr. Clark. We hadn't brought that as an option yet. We were trying to work through bits and pieces of other things. So if that's something that's, you can consider.
Is that like a day spa?
Well,
For the
it would-
dog- for the animal?
It would just be like a little pen, like go do your business in here, you know?
Oh, okay.
And it would have all of
I think the blacktop would discourage little doggy paws.
It does. So most people do carry they have smaller animals, they do carry, or if it's a larger service animal, they walk them, they get what they need, and they go. So, but yeah, that's it. I know I'm probably over time. He's looking at me. All right, thank you very much for
Thank
your
you,
time.
thank you for the work that you put in for this. Thank you, and Joan, and Jerry. Speaking of, Mr. Barron. I would like to reiterate what Councilwoman O'Donnell said. Congratulations for receiving the award.
I haven't gotten it yet.
Well,
Thank you for the accolades yourself. I'm not here to discuss that now.
okay.
I'll save that. But what I want to discuss was half taken care of Optimum. I'm just curious, next week when the lawyer, or you meet with the lawyer, is the lawyer negotiating the new policy with the company, or is there still going to be people on the committee, non-employees on the committee?
that is so far down the road, we are not even beginning the negotiation yet. It's taken us this long just to get the lawyers to meet. So this is our first meeting,
So it's going to be a long-term affair, you're saying?
as it already has been. They're still all working from home,
Right, okay.
so.
The old agreement said that the IT department was gotten money every month. I forget what the amount was, maybe $1,500 or so. Are they still getting $1,500 a month?
There's a franchise fee that's paid to the township.
Right.
And then our IT department had received equipment that basically runs the television channel.
So they have been using it, that's why, they're still getting money, or did that stop?
I don't believe they get money directly to our IT. There's money that goes to the township, separate from IT.
Are they still getting that money, though, or has it been stopped? Because there's no really official
Yeah,
agreement.
no, it's continuing.
It's continuing, good,
Yes.
okay, all right. And for that matter, I'd like to encourage everybody, there's the Arcadia Schoolhouse, I know, is up for vote tonight or so. I'm hoping, I think it's a no-brainer, but I'm hoping you all vote to lease it for whatever reason. I mean, it seems like a no-brainer to me, but it should be hopefully passed by you guys later on. I'm just encouraging that. And as the treasurer of the Howell Farmers Market, any help you could give us would be appreciative. Let's just put it that way. It's, anything would be appreciative. And that's, oh, you need my address, I guess? 37 Danella Way. A little detail. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. Lisa Dowd?
Hi, my name is Lisa Dowd. I live at 93 Merrick Road. I'm here on behalf of the Shade Tree Commission. So I just wanted to go over a couple projects that we're working on. One is we are working on quotes for hazardous tree inventory. We're in the process of getting a quote from a New Jersey licensed tree expert on doing an inventory for the town. By next meeting, we should have the numbers. The inventory would include evaluation of existing trees, removal and/or repair of those trees. The second is the Seedling Giveaway. So just wanted to remind everybody that it's Saturday, October 2nd, so you can come before you go to the fishing derby, come get your trees. And 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. at DPW, and we'll be giving away 1,000 seedlings and shrubs to Howell Township residents. So. Winston Park, we are planning a maintenance day. Tentative date is going to be Saturday, October 16th. So we will be at Howell Day signing up volunteers for some of the projects we're working on moving forward. The Rain Garden Project, thank you so much for signing off on that. Really appreciate it. We did reach out to Rutgers Water Resources team to schedule a date to review locations, and it looks like the earliest they can be out is in November. So as soon as we get some dates from them where we can go review locations, I will let everyone know. The last project is Easy Street. We did go visit the site. It's wonderful. So we've tagged the trees and shrubs that we want to keep. DPW is going to go in and mow for us, and then we'll work on clearing some brush from the site. So we're going to do a layout for the community wildlife habitat there, and the planting day for that project will probably be late October, early November. And then just a quick side note, Green Team, our focus for the rest of the year is on plastic pollution solutions, in line with the grant that we received. So we are working on some partnerships with the Howell Township schools, some plastic pollution solution contests, and maybe poster contests and essays. So as soon as we have more information on that, we'll let everyone know. We also are exploring a plastic bag collection program where if we collect an enormous amount of plastic bags, we can build our own bench out of plastic bags. So please save all your plastic bags because we will be hitting everybody up.
How many bags do you need to make a bed?
A lot. Like a lot. But Equestria actually did it. And they collected enough plastic bags to get a plastic bench made. So we figure if they could do it, if we get the whole town involved, we could do it too.
Cool.
So, and then we're also working on just putting together maybe a speaker series and some movies on plastic reduction and how you can reduce your plastic footprint and things like that. So as soon as we have that, we will share it with everyone.
Can we also put that on the TV? That would be great.
Yeah, so as soon as we know more about how we're going to collect the plastic bags and collection points, we'll let everybody know. We're just trying to work out the details about how we'll do that. But it should be a really cool project. And they also have a different program that they do for the schools. So the schools can do their own project. And
Don't they use the caps to like soda bottles and stuff like that? Milk bottles?
yeah, that's actually a different, there's a different company that handles the recycling of the soda bottles. And
Yeah.
the company that we're exploring this with does plastic bag, plastic film. So like, you know, bags that you would buy your bread in and things like that. So, so yeah, it should be pretty cool. And if you collect an enormous amount of plastic bags, we'll get a bench. And then I also just wanted to offer help from the Green Team for the farmers market, since we do have a Facebook page. If we can help in any way in promoting the farmers market, we'd be happy to do it.
That's wonderful, thank you.
You know, the Green Team does get points for the farmers market, so we'd love to be partners on that. So, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
In terms of your tree, I'm sorry, you're having the trees, hiring someone to do the trees. Have you
Yes.
talked to Sherry Spiro?
Yes, we did. She actually provided a preliminary quote. So we just had a couple of questions to go back to her with. And we just really feel that, you know, having a third party, you know, we trust Sherry and her opinion. You know, whether a tree, yeah, whether a tree has to be taken out or if there's some way we can save it, you know. Yeah.
And I appreciate it. This is something near and dear to my heart.
I know. So we're working on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Tina Smilek?
I have to go last more often. They go through most of my questions. These times for other things. Was the 2021, Tina Smilek, 33 Charles Street. Was the 2021 capital finalized, the list? Because they approved everything, now it's finalized?
Yes.
Okay. Great point on the parks. Actually, Freehold has an ordinance. If you would like me to send it to Mr. Geegan, I will. That does cover everything for smoking in parks and facilities that we use, so I don't know if that'll help you. I can send it to you.
Absolutely.
21299. It refers to the 2020 capital program. We didn't have a 2020 capital program. Is that a mistake?
No, this was part of the projects that were planned, and we started awarding the engineering contracts last year, so that's how it wound up with
So
the
you're
2020
considering
number.
2020. Okay.
But that is correct, there was no 2020 capital program.
Okay, so that's,
It's just an internal numbering for our engineering.
okay. The land use developers agreement, if it's voted on tonight, my understanding, and I like saying this, is because we always said it, residents can't see what's in it until you pass it. So we are at a loss to ask any questions on this. So after they vote tonight, if it passes, then we can request a copy of it and view what the developer's agreement is,
Once it's signed.
once it's signed. Okay, and how long does that usually take?
Are you talking about fountains, right?
Yes.
So they already sent us a signed copy back in anticipation of it being approved. If it's approved, it'll get signed. You can send in your OPR tomorrow, and we should have it within the 7 business days.
Okay, thank you. Zoning board and planning board, will they ever go back to regular meetings?
It's been my recommendation that we held off on that. We were planning a September 1st. With cases on the rise, all it takes is a social distancing mandate again, 6 feet. That limits this room to less than 30 participants. We know we have some big cases coming in before each board, so it was my opinion that we should stay on Zoom, allow for those big cases to go forward until we know we're out of the woods. We don't want to be canceling meetings because a mandate comes down from the governor's office. You know,
I
the day
understand
before the
that, but it's easier for residents to come and express themselves in person, and Zoom, it's a little bit,
We've heard a lot to the contrary. We've heard that a lot of people like Zoom and being
Yeah,
able to
that's
be in their
fine.
living room.
no problem, just wanted to know, thank you. Okay, on to this efficiency study. I also have a problem with this. So going through the numbers, we're paying $43,000 more to go with the non-lowest bidder. We could have got the whole town done with Matrix and still saved $22,000 instead of paying what we're paying now. So we're paying $22,000 more to get 3 departments done than paying less than that to get the whole town done. So that's really a problem for me. I mean, this whole town really should have been done. It should have been done properly, it should have been planned properly, and it should have went through capital so we didn't have to take this from our budget. Because I want to know where we're coming up with $100,000 from our budget. Where did this fluff money come from? And if so, you should know where it comes from. So next time when you're budgeting, you can look in the budget and says, oh, we had extra money here, we need to cut money. There's a good place for you to cut. So we had that much more. Also, if you would put it in capital, or if you want to find some more fluff money, we could do the whole town for $47,900 more. I really think the whole town should be done, not just 3 departments, because although they're our 3 biggest departments, they're also, you've got the manager who oversees the whole town, which should be the biggest. You've got tax collector who takes in probably the most money. You have, I mean, there's just so much in this town, and you want to do an efficiency study, let's do it right and let's do it total, is my opinion. I don't know if you can change it now, but I think it's absolutely ridiculous. What are we getting for $43,000 more? I'll tell you, they had 2 pages and 11 areas of exceptions to the bid, including we do not maintain ownership of what they're giving us. They maintain ownership themselves. So I don't know how that affects us. The termination clause they changed. There's just 11 changes to this, and I don't know what was wrong with Matrix. Why didn't we go, what was the problem with going with the lowest bidder? I mean, I tried to ask, there might be a really great reason for this, and I'm just at a stump. I tried to figure out that on my own, and I couldn't.
There was a scoring system enacted, and it comprised various components. Some of the larger key factors were their experience working with New Jersey government and office locations in New Jersey or close to it.
Okay, but that can't, according to purchasing laws, you can't say because they're located in New Jersey unless you clarify that in your bid specifications. Why should some other company?
It's familiarity with New Jersey laws. They
But
did not.
the other company had just as many New Jersey
I'm not going to debate it
towns.
with you.
I know, I'm just
It was
saying.
scored by multiple people, and those scores were tallied.
There was 2 people on the committee, yourself and the QPA, right?
Yes.
So that, the 2 of you were what scored it?
Yes.
And neither one of your offices are being overseen in this study, right? You decided to go with the middle one. So neither one of yours is having an efficiency study done to it.
I did not decide that. The council did.
So council decided to go with the 3 bids.
No.
A recommendation was made,
No,
but
we
the
didn't.
council's the one that authorizes it.
We authorized it. We did not decide which department.
You authorized the bid, then the bid.
We approved it, but we did not decide the departments.
You never had any discussion here whether,
That's correct.
why didn't we go with the lowest bidder? And you didn't have any discussion on it. It was just 3 people decided yes, 2 people decided no. We didn't have any information on it. I don't even know if you guys read the bid specs. I mean, 11 pages of exceptions to this bid. 11 areas, 2 pages of exceptions. The other company did have a lot of experience in New Jersey. Their bid specs were absolutely amazing. The people they had there, if you look at the people some of the people in this company that you're hiring have less experience than they had with their people. I mean, I've read, they put in there, it was very nice that they put in there every employee they had and the qualifications. I mean, I read through it and I just don't understand how we're spending $43,000 more because somebody lives in New Jersey? $43,000. You know what we could do with $43,000? A lot. So we should have went with the lowest bidder, I believe. You want the study? I will agree with you. Do an efficiency study, but do it right. Plan it right. Do the whole town.
I agree. And during that discussion in that meeting, I said, let's hold off to the budget and do it right and do the whole town. So.
And that's the way it should be done. Put it in
So
your
I'll make a
capital project.
suggestion to you, and if you don't like the vote on that, and you don't like the fact that it wasn't awarded to the lowest bidder, take us to court.
That's your answer to everything. That was very rude. You know what? I'm a resident. This is my tax money. I'm talking to my elected officials.
I'm happy to defend the choice. So if you would like to, you can feel free. You come up here and you complain about it, but seriously, if you really feel that strongly about it, then take us to court.
Okay, you want to pay for it? Do you think I have money just to spend going to court? I can't come here and express my opinion because you want me to
That's
take it
right,
to court
it's
instead?
your opinion.
Yes, and I am expressing it, and you're wasting my time by telling me to go to court and not say it here.
Well, we're looking at it like that. It's just your opinion.
And that's all I'm giving. Did I say it wasn't my opinion?
Ms. Smiley's opinion.
Mr. Clark, can we stick to the consent agenda, please? Thank you.
That's where it is, $43,000 you wasted. Circulation plans, we're supposed to pick 10 to 12 roads. Were those roads picked? Because it's not the whole town, it was just 10 to 12 roads.
That's being worked on currently.
So we don't, can that be released? Those roads that are going to be done in the circulation plan?
I'm not sure, because it seems with you, everything needs to be done by committee, so if we pick 10 roads, you're going to have a few others that we didn't include, that that your opinion should include.
All right.
Why don't you just send me the 10 roads that you think it should be?
We could take that down a little bit.
You know, I ask questions, I get involved, most people don't. I'm sorry you don't like my questions, I'm sorry you don't like, I don't like people going after me in my job, but I don't come here and say anything about that. You know what?
I'm going to call point of order because we're getting way off topic here,
No,
guys, and we have a
I am
lot of
done.
business to
I
do
am
with the
done.
township.
But let me
Thank you.
just say to you, this was very rude, and for you not to listen to residents and tell them to go to court, and
Don't
I
say
have to
when
be harassed
we
by
listen
this.
to you all the time, Tina. We
Tina, I
listen to
agree
you all the
with you.
time. Of course you agree with her. Can we move on, please?
Thank you.
Okay. Have a nice day. Let's go. Let's move on.
Oh, my God, that's...
Yes, listen.
At this point, I would like to go to the consent agenda items. May I have a motion for the consent agenda, please?
So actually, you'll have a motion to close the public comments.
Thank you, sir. May I have a motion to close the portion of the meeting that has public comments?
Motion to close, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you.
Moved by Deputy Mayor
Deputy Mayor.
Russo, seconded by
Councilwoman Richmond.
Councilwoman Richmond. All in favor?
Aye.
And public comments are closed.
May I have a motion for the consent agenda?
I'd like to move R-23, R21 through 263 through R21 through 304. I'd like to separate and have a separate vote on 21292 and 21293, please.
Mr. Bonovich, I just have a question. The first number you said? I'm sorry.
It's 2163 through 21304.
279?
That's why I was asking.
21263 had been removed prior to the
Oh,
final
we're looking at-
agenda.
Okay, all right, so it's 29, what's the first number? 217?
Yep, I apologize, Mr. Bonovich. I'm
Okay,
looking at
I'm
the
just-
one online and not the one that we were
Yeah.
given. Sorry.
What are you pulling from?
I just like
So-
separate votes on 292 and 293, so we're going to move the whole consent. 2179,
So is there a motion to approve the consent agenda with the exception of Resolution 21-292 and 21-293?
Mr. Bonovich made the motion, I'll second the motion.
Moved by Mr. Bonovich, seconded by Deputy Mayor Russo. Is there any discussion? You ready for the vote? Yes, sir. Councilman Bonovich?
yes.
Councilwoman O'Donnell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Richmond?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Russo?
Yes.
And Mayor Berger?
Yes.
And the consent agenda has been approved. First for your consideration additionally is Resolution 21-276, which is a
We need
resolution.
two separate votes on 292, 293.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Okay.
Resolution 276 is a resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Howell authorizing the execution of a land use developers agreement with 641 Route 9 Howell LLC. Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
I'll step down and make the motion.
I'm sorry, just need a moment.
Which one was that?
276. All you need is a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Moved by moved by Mayor Berger, seconded by Councilwoman O'Donnell. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, are you ready for the vote?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Councilman Bonovich?
No,
No?
no.
Councilwoman O'Donnell?
No.
Councilwoman Richmond?
No.
Deputy Mayor Russo?
No.
Mayor Berger?
No.
And Resolution 21-276 has failed.
Okay, so now that we don't have a developer's agreement in place, what would you like me to do? Because we're going to be in litigation very shortly, And don't forget, the settlement agreement with this developer allows them to build 408 residential units. How would you like me to handle it?
That developer's agreement was pre-me, so have them come back and talk to us.
What would you like to talk to them about? Because they got planning board approval for their 100 age-restricted units in 2018, and they're deeding over developable land where the 26 residential units were going to be. But now we're going to have 408 units. So what would you like me to talk to them about?
We turned down a hotel because of 4 stories, but this goes through? I mean, come on.
The earlier R5 zoning ordinance that was passed allowed for 60 feet in height and 4 stories. It came up at the planning board. I sent everybody information about it. I told you what meeting it was. You can listen to it where they were told it was grandfathered in. So it's conforming to the zoning ordinance that existed as a result of the litigation settlement. What would you guys like me to do?
Mr. Clark.
You set the policy for the town.
I have-
So tell us what you want us to do here.
Is there a chance that we would, by not passing this tonight, not get, or I guess lose the ability to have it age restricted?
Sure. The earlier settlement
So-
allowed for 408
The developer-
unrestricted units.
The developer can enforce their, I guess, their 2003 agreement, which was, you said
It
400?
specifically states that if this settlement agreement isn't acknowledged, then the other one kicks in and they're entitled to build 408 units. What would you guys like me to do?
And we lose the age restricted component?
Correct. And we're losing the ability to receive that deeded land, so there'll be houses built on there. What would you guys like me to do?
That deeded land is wetlands.
A portion of it's developable, it's a fact. So now we have 5 no's.
I would ask for a,
I'm looking for guidance from council on this. What would you guys, you want me to, I'll litigate.
Let's litigate.
Okay?
I'm only one vote, Mr. Clark, so
I'm fine with that. I don't like the 4 stories.
May we take a straw poll? So that Mr. Clark has clear definition.
I wouldn't, if you guys want, sure. I mean, we need guidance on this. We can't just walk out of here with nothing, because come tomorrow, I'm gonna get a call from them, and they're gonna be looking to start building 400 units or 408 units.
Mr. Clark, I would ask for council to recall the vote.
So Mr. Ivanovich is making a motion to reconsider?
no, Deputy Mayor.
Deputy
Russo.
Mayor.
I'm sorry,
Russo is,
Deputy
yes.
Mayor Russo. Calling for a motion to reconsider. Is there a second to that motion? Seeing none, the motion fails.
Mr. Clark, just one more time, outline what's going to happen, what this no vote means.
Sure. So there was planning board approval of this in 2018. At the time, what was approved was 105 age-restricted units. It was grandfathered in under the earlier zoning R5 ordinance that allowed for 60 feet in height and 4 stories. That was amended slightly prior to their submission to the planning board to allow for only 45 feet and 2.5 stories. At the planning board, there was tremendous amount of discussion about this very issue. And the planning board attorney, who I agree with, said that it was grandfathered in and that the prior zoning ordinance applied to it. So with that in mind, they approved it. And as part of that approval, like I said, the developer withdrew their plan to build 26 residential units. Now, under the settlement agreement, if that development of the 100 age-restricted units is thwarted, which it is now, they're entitled to open that settlement agreement back up and to build 408 unrestricted units. So that's where we are now.
Was that 408 units, was any of that affordable, COA? You said earlier it was COA.
Nope.
You mentioned it was a COA negotiation.
This arose out of litigation where we sought to remove this particular development from our COA map, and the settlement arose out of that.
So it was a COA negotiation with no
The COA requirements for that round are satisfied. So we're getting 408 market rate units.
I'm
And
going to ask
refresh
the
my
council.
memory, I'm sorry, refresh my memory, Mr. Clark. Why did we pull that out of the COA map?
This is 20 years ago. I mean, it was,
Okay.
I could look into it, but I have no idea why. I know it led to litigation and that the settlement that was created out of that litigation allowed for the age-restricted units and 26 residential, which again, they abandoned the residential in 2018.
I'm going to ask the council again, respectfully, to recall the vote. Excuse me.
Could you state your reasons, Councilman?
Information that was clarified.
So again, Deputy Mayor Russo has made a motion to reconsider. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion, considering we would go from 100 units to 408. And obviously, this community continuously is concerned with overdevelopment. And I think the extra 308 units would certainly lend itself to overdevelopment.
I mean, with all due respect and playing the political game, this is what the Democrats want. They think that we should vote no on all this development, giving them what they want. We're obliging. I'm a servant for the people. This is what they want.
So a motion was made by Deputy Mayor Russo, seconded by Councilwoman O'Donnell. Are you ready for the vote?
Sure.
Mr. Bonovich?
No.
Councilwoman O'Donnell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Richmond?
No.
Deputy Mayor Russo?
Yes.
Mayor Berger?
No.
And the motion to reconsider has failed.
So direction to the attorney is to reach out to the applicant tomorrow and probably
He probably won't have to.
litigation?
They'll probably reach out to him before he even gets into the office.
Probably on the way home. Good point.
So,
Yeah, he waited 20 years.
fair enough, but I don't think he was here 20 years ago, just like we weren't.
We'll continue with the agenda. Next for your consideration is Resolution 21-292, a resolution increasing additional not-to-exceed limitation for the contract awarded to Dosty and Associates as special counsel for the Township of Howell. Is there a motion to adopt Resolution 21-292?
I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 21-292.
I'll second the motion.
Moved by Councilwoman Richmond, seconded by Councilwoman O'Donnell. Is there any further discussion?
Yes. I think that we've been given information that explains why the additional funds are needed and that the work is being done, so therefore, we're paying them.
Well, to be clear, the reason that this was done, obviously, more political nonsense. They're accusing you of something that is just utterly ridiculous, so we're just going to keep revisiting this every time we see the Dasty name show up on a resolution.
Yes,
Yeah,
I do
okay.
believe
Just
this was
wanted to make
aimed-
that clear.
This was aimed at me, and
course it
again-
was.
And again, this is not applicable. However, I won't punish the Dasty firm for people's ignorance.
Fair enough.
Are you ready for the vote?
I am.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Councilman Bonovich?
No.
Councilwoman O'Donnell?
Yes?
Councilwoman Richmond?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Russo?
Yes.
Mayor Berger?
No.
Resolution 21-292 has been adopted. Next is Resolution 21-293, which is a resolution increasing additional not-to-exceed limitations for the contract awarded to Dosty, Murphy, McGuckin, Uleki, something with a K, and Connors as special counsel for the Township of Howell. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve R 21-293.
Second.
Again, for all those reasons stated previously.
Ditto.
Are you ready for the vote?
I am?
Councilwoman Bonovich?
No.
Councilwoman O'Donnell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Richmond?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Russo?
Yes.
Mayor Berger?
No.
Resolution 21-293 has passed.
So before we go any further, I do want guidance from council on this issue.
I gave you my stance there, Mr. Clark.
I voted in the affirmative, so I owe no explanation.
I agree with Pam.
See what happens tomorrow. Let us know.
We will be sued, and they will seek to unspin the settlement agreement, and they're going to look to build 408 units. I don't need a crystal ball for that. How do you want me to deal with it? I'm not going to wait till tomorrow. I don't get paid to wait till tomorrow. I want guidance now.
We all agreed and we voted, so there it is.
Mayor?
I agree with them. Fight it.
Okay.
Next on the agenda is unfinished business for public hearing and possible adoption of ordinance number 21-24, which is an ordinance of the Township, Council of the Township of Howell, Monmouth County, authorizing the leasing of a portion of the property located at Block 67, Lot 2 in the Township of Howell pursuant to NJSA 40:8-12-13 et sec.
Make the motion to move.
We're going to have a
ordinance-
public hearing.
That's right. Sorry about that.
I would like to open up the meeting at this time for a public hearing on ordinance 21-24. Please come up. Please state your name and address.
Bob Novak, 427 Lakewood Farmingdale Road. On this ordinance, we'd like to thank Joe Clark for getting us to this point, and also especially Justin Yost, who did work on the map of sectioning a portion of that parcel out for us for the Ordinance Schoolhouse. We're happy to be at this point, and we appreciate if you all vote for it, and we're looking forward to getting school open again, because that'll probably be the easiest, quickest one of the two facilities in order for us to open. Again, we thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is anyone else? I'd like to close this portion.
Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion to close public portion?
A second?
Moved by Ms. Councilwoman O'Donnell, seconded by Councilwoman Richmond. All in favor?
Aye.
Is there a motion to adopt ordinance 21-24?
Motion to adopt ordinance 21-24.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Bonovich, seconded by Councilwoman Richmond. Is there any further discussion?
I'd like to say that this has been, I'd like to say a labor of love, but it's just been a labor, quite frankly. And I'm glad to see that it's finally at the end. And I know that the Heritage Historical Society will do a good job with this. I know that they've wanted this for quite a while. So I applaud your energy, and I'm very happy to have been a part to bring this to fruition.
I'd like to thank our professionals. I know how hard you worked on this one. I remember going here as a kid, class trips. Town's really going to benefit from this, so thank you, and thank the Historical Society for all the work you've done.
Yeah, it's in good hands. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ditto.
Are you ready for the vote?
Yes, sir.
Councilman Bonovich?
Yes.
Councilwoman O'Donnell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Richmond?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Russo?
Yes.
And Mayor Berger?
Yes.
And ordinance number 21-24 has been properly adopted.
I'd like to open the meeting for ordinance 21-25.
Let me just read for the record, ordinance
Please.
21-25 is an ordinance amending Article 2, Domestic Animals, Chapter 57 Fees, subsection 4B License and Registration Tag of the revised general ordinances of the Township of Howell.
Does anybody want to come up to speak about this ordinance? Seeing no one, I'll take a motion to close this portion.
Motion to close the portion?
Second?
Moved by Councilwoman O'Donnell, seconded by Councilwoman Richmond. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is there a motion to adopt ordinance 21-25?
Motion to adopt 21-25.
Second?
Moved by Councilman Bonovich, seconded by Councilwoman Richmond. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, you ready for the vote?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Bonovich?
Yes.
Councilwoman O'Donnell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Richmond?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Russo?
Yes.
Mayor Berger?
Yes.
And ordinance 21-25 has been adopted.
I'd like to open this portion of the meeting, 0-21-26, if you would read.
Ordinance 21-26 is an ordinance amending Chapter 178, Article 2, Rental Property, subsection 29, Other Standards of the Revised General Ordinances of the Township of Howell.
Is there anyone that wants to come up and speak at this time? Seeing no one, I take a motion to close it.
Motion to close public?
Second?
Moved by Councilwoman O'Donnell, seconded by Councilwoman Richmond. All in favor?
Aye.
Is there a motion to adopt ordinance 21-26?
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance number 21-26.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Richmond, seconded by Councilman Bonovich. Is there any further discussion?
No.
Is there a motion? Are you ready for the vote?
Did you want to say something, Evelyn?
May I just, I
Oh, I'm
don't.
sorry.
No, that's okay. I actually thought Councilman O'Donnell was going to say something. So to all professionals, Matt Howard, code enforcement, our attorneys, and even the public that came out and were like watchdogs watching other towns and what they've done and provided us information. You guys did a great job getting this done so quickly. So on behalf of the council, thank you to everybody that put this effort together to get this done.
Absolutely.
Are you ready for the vote?
Yes, sir.
Councilman Bonovich?
Yes.
Councilwoman O'Donnell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Richmond?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Russo?
Yes.
And Mayor Berger?
Yes, sir.
And ordinance number 21-26 has been properly adopted.
I'd like to open the meeting for ordinance 0-21-27.
Ordinance.
Didn't we have this and we got rid of it and now we're bringing it back?
Yep.
Did we table? What do I think we
No,
did?
it wasn't tabled.
No, we removed the sidewalk ordinance and we're putting it back.
Oh, okay.
So ordinance 21-27 is an ordinance of the Township of Howell amending Chapter 188 Land Use, Article 14 Residential Design Standards, Section 132 Sidewalks of the Revised General Ordinances of the Township of Howell.
Is there anyone who would like to come up to speak?
I just have one quick point to your
Yes, sir.
question about it, kind of coming back and forth. After introduction on the first version, the planning board had some comments. We adjusted the ordinance based on those comments, reintroduced last meeting. Now it's up for adoption. So that's where it's been kind of on the agenda for a few meetings.
Thank you. Could I have a motion to close the public portion?
Motion to close public portion?
Second?
Moved by Councilwoman O'Donnell, seconded by Councilwoman Richmond. All in favor?
Aye.
Is there a motion to adopt ordinance 21-27?
Motion to adopt 21-27?
I'll second.
Moved by Councilman Bonovich, seconded by Councilwoman O'Donnell. Is there any further discussion?
Yes, I'd like to thank Land Use for staying on top of this, and Planning Board for having reconsiderations and making edifications that'll make this clearer and a better policy for the township.
If there are no further comments, are you ready for the vote?
Yes, sir.
Councilman Bonovich?
Yes.
Councilwoman O'Donnell?
Yes?
Councilwoman Richmond?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Russo?
Yes.
Mayor Berger?
Yes.
And ordinance 21-27 has been properly adopted.
There's no introduction of ordinances. And for information, our next meeting will be on Tuesday, September 28th at 2020. The meeting will be at 6. For the governing body, and then the executive will be at 6, and the council meeting was at 7.
Correct.
Sorry about that. So may I have a motion to end the meeting?
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Richmond, seconded by Councilman Bonovich. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And this meeting is officially adjourned at 9:00 p.m.
Not bad.
Thank you.